My mom found this hand drill stand at a thrift store for $3 and decided to clean it up, give it some new paint, and make it look nice. I remembered seeing one of these in a book I used to read for silent reading back in high school. It's basically a poor man's drill press for the home workshop. So I thought, great, another tool to add to my arsenal. However, a problem arose when I went to use it the first time, as the gear inside of it crumbled, being made of some cheap die-cast alloy instead of steel like gears are supposed to be. Not wanting all that hard work to go to waste, I took it upon myself to machine a new gear for this thing and restore its former glory.
GreensandMachines.com.
The first thing I needed to do was create a gear cutter. I decided I could accomplish this by grinding a broken tap into the gear tooth profile and mounting it on an arbor for the milling machine. I machined this arbor from a scrap piece of cast iron I found in the street. I was going to use steel, but I didn't have any on hand the correct size. I then ground the cutter as best I could on the bench grinder, using the remaining teeth on the original gear as a gauge for the profile. I also gathered the original gear dimensions to create a blank for the new one. I machined a mandrel to support the blank while it would be held in the indexing fixture. While the original gear was held onto the shaft with this D shape cast directly into it and press fit on with some splines, the new one would fit on with a set screw. This would be much easier than recreating the D shape, though I had to turn down the spline since it would not be a press fit like before. I began the setup for gear cutting with the indexing fixture. I did the math for cutting a 16-tooth gear. Unfortunately, this fixture only indexes to whole degree increments, and 360 is not divisible by 16, as every other tooth requires a half-degree increment. I decided my best option would be to just cut plus and minus half a degree for those teeth. This would result in a gear with every other tooth being smaller than the rest, but I figured for this application that wouldn't be the end of the world. I aligned the cutter on center with the old trick of sticking a scale in between it and the workpiece until it looked vertical. Real precision here. For the cuts, I ran the spindle at 330 RPM, taking 15 thousandths of an inch per pass to a total depth of 190 thousandths per each tooth. I also took a 5 thou finish pass at 500 RPM. This was a free machining alloy of steel, and it seemed to cut pretty nice. After cutting all of those teeth, I could see no damage to the cutter whatsoever. When I took it out to test fit it with the gear rack, it would bind up. I realized this was because my cutter did not make a true involute gear tooth profile, given my limited abilities making it with a bench grinder. In other words, the teeth came out too square to mesh correctly. My solution was to put the gear back in the indexing fixture, realign it on center, and then take a cut at full depth, but with the height adjusted plus and minus the gear pitch, which is 1/4 inch. This would effectively shave off the interfering material because cutting at those two heights mimics the adjacent teeth on the gear rack. I got this idea when considering how a gear hob works, except here I'm taking 3 cuts with a single point tool instead of a single cut with a multi-point tool. After that was done, and a little bit of filing, the gear fit in smoothly. And now to put it all back together. One complaint I have with this thing is the lack of any feature to register the casting that bolts onto the bottom of the gear rack, as when you tighten it, it can rotate, leading to it being installed off-center. There's also no anti-rotation feature for the entire gear rack, or quill in this case. On an actual drill press there would have to be one, since the rotation of the spindle through the quill would cause it to want to rotate. Here it causes that same effect, only it's worse because the axis of the drill is not on the same axis as the gear rack, so it's kinda scary when you try to drill something because it wants to wander all over the place. Between this and the gear crumbling effect, I can see why these things weren't that popular. I might go back later and add an anti-rotation feature, but that's beyond the scope of this video. In the meantime, I have a Coach Z medallion pattern to drill to complete my Halloween costume. Let's try it out.